You're listening to the Revenge of the Drive-In commentary track for 2020's The Invisible Man, the film from writer-director Leigh Whannell. Nice seeing the Blumhouse titles in front of a decent movie for once.
I was about to make that joke, yeah.
Not for once. They've released plenty of good movies, but they've released plenty of trash too, of course. I mean, Get Out is Blumhouse.
Are they the ones who also do
movies?
The Conjuring movies and stuff like that? Is that also Blumhouse?
Yeah, I think that was kind of the start of Blumhouse, was the Conjuring movies, which, you say what you will, or not, no, sorry, not the Conjuring. I was picturing Paranormal Activity. That was the start of them.
Oh, okay.
Which, I was going to say, like, say what you will about, not liking the Paranormal Activities or whatever. Absolutely a perfect way for, like, a small production company to become big, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they started out small. Obviously, those movies, ended up being very big and had a big role in why Blumhouse is so big today. Johnny Depp was supposed to be the Invisible Man.
Oh yeah. That's right.
And
he
it's
was supposed to be the Invisible Man. You're right.
So the Tom Cruise Mummy, I think that was like 2017 or so. That movie comes out, it flops. Whatever Invisible Man movie someone was conjuring up with Johnny Depp, obviously that's not what this is. But how crazy is it that this is essentially a movie about everything that Johnny Depp was accused of doing in terms of abuse and everything like that? Obviously, the Johnny Depp court case, we now know a lot more than we did back then. But like, even in when this came out, I'm like, yeah, Johnny Depp, he's an abuser and stuff. And it's like, now, okay, he probably is an abuser too, but he was also a victim. So I don't know. The people who were like rooting on Johnny Depp to me were really weird. Like,
yeah, well, like, this is what I explained to somebody. First off, to ape off your point about about Johnny Depp potentially being in this movie, I think he would have been a pretty good Invisible Man, if we're being honest. But I think he would have. Well,
that's hard to say because we don't technically know what that movie would have been.
Yeah,
I'm sure it wasn't this movie.
I feel like they would have picked Johnny Depp though to play a kind of like drunk, like a classy Invisible Man that was like a scientist, much like the original. You find that like a lot of cop movies are set in San Francisco, or like
Dirty
I feel like they were in the 70s, anyways, 70s and 80s.
I mean, Dirty Harry is one of my favorite movies, but it's such a perfect location specifically for that movie because San Francisco, late 60s, early 70s is like the hippie capital of the world, and Harry Callahan is this like ultra conservative piece of shit, so who's just like going to hate everything the city like is about, or the city's residents are about, I guess.
However, once The Mummy was released to negative critical reception and box office returns deemed by the studio as insufficient, changes were made to the Dark Universe to focus on individual storytelling and move away from the shared universe concept. In January 2019, Universal announced that all future movies on their horror characters would focus on standalone stories, avoiding interconnectivity. And then this is when Jason Blum stepped in because he said, hey, I really want to direct some movies with the Universal monsters, and they essentially said,
"Well,
take it."
Blum doesn't direct.
No, sorry, yeah, you're right. He wanted to produce them. That's that's what I'm looking for.
And I will say, there is a world where you can have all those Universal monsters all tied into each other. You can make those into the horror Avengers. There's a way to do that.
Yeah, like the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
No, I was going to say Frankenstein meets the Wolfman movies, like the old movies. I think they pulled that off pretty well. Obviously, those wouldn't be considered scary today. But, like, I mean, there's a way to do that. It's just The Mummy 2017 was not it.